Okay, so I've been struggling with batteries all morning as far as camera batteries, charge them because they're too cold. So kind of give you guys a little bit of the scoop. It is right now, right around 9 or 10 o'clock. I don't have my phone with me right now. And Zach left about an hour or so ago because he had some things he had to do. We're going to do some laundry and we're going to build our backwoods pooper. I guess you can call it a stump dumper. My battery's currently on 15%. It's right around 20 degrees out here. We let the fire die down last night. We both stayed warm all night. But yeah, I've been having trouble keeping everything charged and all that stuff. As soon as I pull it off the charger, it goes dead within about 2 or 3 minutes. So it's not wanting to actually charge. So I'm trying to warm it up in there to get everything charged. Okay guys, so we have some laundry to do. We got a couple pair of socks here that need washed. Dropped one over here on this other side. Couple pair of socks that need washed, and then we've got some long johns. We also have this, I've been using it kind of like just a camp rag almost. We got those items that really need washed, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some ashes from the fireplace and I'll show you guys how I wash these. Okay, so as you can see, we've got some ashes in there. What I'm going to do is pull this stuff out, and I'm just going to go ahead and empty all the ashes out into this 5-gallon bucket. These ashes are no longer warm or hot. Some of those back in the very back are still a little warm. That's all right. Now, we should have enough ashes to do the stuff that we need to do. Okay, so we've got our bucket with our ashes in it. What we're going to do now is break that ice. I'm not too worried about getting a bunch of debris in here or muddying up the water. Maybe put a little bit more in there. Just like that. So you can see that bucket is now full of ash water. So what we're going to do, we're going to toss some of our stuff down in there. Put this lid on the bucket. Make sure it's good and sealed. And just shake it. Just like that. I'm gonna lay this stuff over here to the side because I'm gonna refill this bucket to rinse everything off. So, it's like that. We'll put our other stuff in there. We're going to do the same thing. You know, this isn't getting your clothes 100% clean, but what it's doing is that lye and that ash is going to help keep down the smell. We empty this out over here away from our water source. Rinse this bucket out a little bit. That. Now we can just fill the bucket up, take each piece of clothing we have, kind of rinse it around in there, and wring it out, just like that. I'm sorry if you guys can hear me breathing a lot into this mic. I'm still trying to kind of set up the mic to where you can't hear that, and I'm trying to keep my breath low. That way you guys don't hear that, because whenever you hear someone doing this the whole video, it's aggravating, I know. So anyways, get back to washing. So I had to warm my fingers up real quick because it's cold out here. You can see all this ash we have rubbed into here. These are our long johns. Just kind of come in here, agitate it some. Pull it out and just start squeezing the water out of it. And you're going to have some of this ash stick to your clothing. You're not going to be able to wash all of it off, but as it dries, it'll just fall off. So I'm really not too worried about that. Toss that right there. We got our camp rag. This I'm really not too worried about. I don't have to get it super clean. And like I said, this ash isn't going to take, you know, stains and things like that out of your clothes. What it's going to do is it's going to keep the smell down, okay? You know, hygiene in a long-term self-reliance situation such as this one is so important. You don't want to get infection on anything. You want to stay as clean as you possibly can. And this is how you would do your laundry, basically. Backwoods washing machine for the most part. So, and this shows you the versatility of having something like a 5-gallon bucket with you, or multiple buckets. You can see how much we've already used this bucket, and it's only day 3 right now. So, day 3. I'm losing track now. Day 3. So, you know, a bucket like this, it's $4 or $5 at a hardware store, you know, and it can serve so many purposes. There's no reason not to have 1 or 2. Take our clothes back to camp, get them hung up, and get to drying in the wall temp. So I'm just going to set my stuff kind of near the wood stove here, my socks and stuff. Just set it on top of some of this wood I split today. Yeah, this little wood stove does pretty good in here. It was 18 degrees last night, and you know, it didn't do too bad at all. It kept me pretty warm. Of course, I've got, you know, an overquilt and a couple wool blankets, things like that, so I was perfectly fine. You can see how cold it is out here now. I got steam coming off my hands. Then our long johns, what I'm actually going to do is set them outside in the sun while it's still daylight, and kind of let them dry out. Okay, so this is the beginning of my pooper, or my stump dumper. as I like to call it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hew this out right here, make it nice and smooth. This log is a little big for it, but I like to poop in style. So what I did was I just built a pooper. I cut a nice, probably 4 or 5 inch in diameter piece of tulip poplar, batoned it down into half. That way it gives me kind of a seat. I dug a hole about 2 feet deep, and what I like about this, number one, is that it's simple and it doesn't take, a whole lot of time to make. You don't have to sit there and lash a bunch of stuff or any of that. It's easy enough to find 2 logs with a Y. This one back here is a little bit wiggly, but I'm not too worried about that. So, sit on it, make sure you have it placed, about the width so you don't mess yourself all over the top of it. So each time you go to use the bathroom, you would take a bucket of ashes, from your camp, carry them with you whenever you have to use the bathroom with your, toilet paper or baby wipes or whatever, or leaves. And then after you do your business, you would take some ash, put directly on top of it, cover it with dirt, and then put more ash on top of that dirt. That ash is antimicrobial, so it's going to kind of keep the smell down a little bit, and it's going to help it dry out. Another thing to note, whenever you're doing your business in the woods and you're camping, at least I'd say 100 yards from your camp, and it needs to be downwind of your camp. All right, you don't want to be sitting or laying in your bunk smelling crap because you pooped up wind. So I came east of the wall tent, about 150 meters or so, and made it. So this is where I'm going to do my business. The wind here comes from the west and blows to the east, so I'm never going to smell it or anything like that. And then what's easy about this too is, as this hole gets full and you think it's full enough to where you're going to have to dig another hole, it's easy enough to pull these 2 logs up, fill the hole in, and then go dig you another hole. Now you can also do this with even longer logs and actually build a small frame on one end and basically dig a big trench and just go through and poop all the way down the trench. A lot of people don't like to talk about this stuff because it's embarrassing. But you're going to have to use the bathroom sometime if you're in the woods, whether you use it once a week or 5 times a day. It's something that's not often talked about. So this is what I like to do. I like to actually sit down when I take a dump. Okay, I don't like sitting there squatting up against a tree and doing all that or any of that mess. I like to actually sit, do my business, get out of there, okay? As far as sanitation goes and stuff like that, you know, we're gonna do another, I'm gonna put some bits and pieces about hygiene in this video, but you know, if you carry wipes with you, you can also wipe your hands with it, and you can use it to do your business. You can clean your whole body. Wipes are more versatile than toilet paper will ever be. I never carry toilet paper into the woods, because if it gets wet, it's ruined, and that's the only thing you can really use it for, is wiping your butt or starting a fire. So I always carry wet wipes with me, antibacterial wet wipes. You know, if you didn't have either of those, you can make yourself a slurry with you know, some ash and charcoal, rub it all over your hands, and then rinse it off with water, and you'll be good to go. You know, the really nice thing to having a shovel with you too is you stick it in front of you. That way, whenever you're doing your business or whatever, you can, if you got a big one, you know, you're getting ready to have a blowout, you can really kind of really brace for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, brace for impact. Like I said, it's been a pretty successful day. We've got our pooper built. We ended up doing a little bit of laundry because it has been 4 or 5 days now without a shower, or you know, a real shower. But there are things you can do to get by in the woods to make sure that you don't stink, and to make sure, you know, infection doesn't set in anywhere. You know, a lot of people don't talk about how to stay clean and things like that in the woods. Staying clean is actually very important. Number one, keep your clothes fairly clean. That way your clothing works right and does what it's supposed to do. But also keeping your body clean is another thing too, because you don't want to get infections and things like that from not being clean. Alrighty guys, so Bart ended up showing up. So he ended up getting here a little bit later than what we thought. Thanks, Bart.
Sorry.
We were going to get some traps in the ground today, but that's all right. So before he got here though, we, you know, did laundry, made our, you know, stump dumper, and worked on a couple smaller projects, talked about a couple things. We're going to do a couple more things here tonight. So, but Bart is an associate instructor at the school. He's on his way to becoming an instructor. So he wanted to come up and stay for, you know, 3 or 4 days, 5 days, something like that. And we're gonna go out tomorrow and set a trap line, see if we can get any animals. Haven't had anything to eat tonight. I'm not gonna make anything. Zach left this morning, and Bart's here this evening. Like I said, we're gonna run a trap line, see if we can get some meat. Last time we ate was dinner last night. We had some deer heart and some sauteed onions and all kinds of good stuff. Bart's area of expertise is trapping. Like I said, we're gonna go run a trap line tomorrow. We'll put out quite a few traps, see if we can get some meat. He actually brought a deer hide that we are going to flesh. Does it need fleshed?
Yes.
We're going to flesh, and then we're going to tan it. We don't have any braining solution here, or any brains here to tan it with, so we're actually going to have to go pick up some formula. So
We don't have any brains here?
I mean, I might have a brain. I don't know about you, but
I couldn't resist that.
no, he is a really experienced trapper. I actually have my trapping apprentice license. He has, what you have your normal trapping license,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So in order for me to trap, unless it's on my own property, which all the trapping we're doing is on, but in order for me to trap on state land, I have to be with someone who is an actual certified trapper until I get my full trapping certification. So about how long you been trapping, Bart?
7, 8 years.
Something like that. So guys,
Yeah.
we're basically just going to sit in here and hang out for a little bit and kind of catch up. It's been, what, a month or two since the last class, something like that.
Yeah.
So class season's getting ready to start back up for us. Again, actually the end of this series will be a week after the end of this series will be the first class of the year up at the school. So, but like I said, classes ended back in December. So we're going to kind of catch up a little bit and hang out.